Welcome to Lunch Hour Legal Marketing, teaching you how to promote, market, and make fat stacks for your legal practice. Here on Legal Talk Network.
Conrad, welcome to Office Hours for July 23rd, 2026. We are here answering questions. How are you
now
today?
Sponsored by Toyota.
But not
I'm
really.
Just kidding. We're not really sponsored by Toyota. That would be fun if we had an off-the-wall sponsorship, you know?
I mean, we could sell some Tacomas on Lunch Hour.
We should do it. We should do a luxury brand. We should do the Aston Martin. We're sponsored by Aston Martin. I would do that.
We should do some research and figure out what our audience's favorite.
That would be really fun.
Send out us. We should send more surveys out to the audience.
Okay.
Anyway, so as many of you super fans know, Lunch Hour Legal Marketing does have a Slack channel. If you're not in the Slack channel, reach out and we'll get you added to the Slack channel. But the reason I bring this up is because our good friend Tim from Iowa, aka Tim Semmelroth, posted a question. But before we get into his question, we wanted to wish our condolences to Tim and his family. Conrad?
Yeah, Tim posted the other day that he lost his father, and then went on to describe how inspirational his dad was and in engendering the concept of hard work and into Tim and his siblings. So condolences to you. I hope at some point in time that my kids want to grow up to be the father that I was. Let's put it that way. And so
I hope my kids grow up to be Tim Semmelroth.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah. Tim's a great guy. We're super sorry for your loss.
But he doesn't know everything, and he has a question.
He does. And
I genuinely don't know what this question is. Okay.
Here we go. We filmed each of our lawyers, so 17 different lawyers, answering the same 5 common questions personal injury prospects have. Each answer is approximately a minute long. We did this so we could feature them on each attorney bio page of the new website. They turned out really well, and I was pleasantly surprised to see how each attorney answered the same question in their own voice in a slightly different way. In reviewing them, I realized that these FAQ videos have the potential to be extremely useful if AI starts digesting them. Any suggestions for how we should deploy them on our YouTube channel so we get the most bang for the buck? So framing, we got lawyer videos, their FAQ style. And, you know, when I first read this, to be honest with you, I was thinking about this post from long ago on the Moz blog. I think it was by some of the Wistia folks, but they were talking about some of the considerations in like video hosting and whether you host on YouTube or you host natively on your site and SEO and all the historical things that go into that. This is similar to that, but I'm going to, because the question is like, because he's very specific, how we should deploy them on the YouTube channel. So he's not talking about deploying anywhere else except for YouTube, which we can maybe.
That's my first question.
Right. So maybe that's the second thing we can talk about is let's answer his question directly. And then let's talk about if there are things beyond just YouTube that he should be thinking about. But he's talking about his YouTube channel. And then he's talking about bang for his buck. And it sounds like it's in the context of AI. Now, the first thing that I'll say is this. YouTube, owned by Google. It's very clear from all the Google I/O stuff and even what we're just seeing anecdotally and what all the platforms are publishing in terms of research. Google's AI loves YouTube, right? And probably one of the reasons that Tim is thinking, I want to get maximum bang for my buck from posting on YouTube in the context of AI. The more, here's the 101 answer. The 101 answer is to make sure that you're titling, you're filling out a description, you make sure that the captions are correct, whether you're auto-generating captions or uploading captions, make sure the captions are correct. But other than that, other than the basic blocking and tackling on the channel from an AI perspective, the AI kind of handles the rest, in my opinion. You just got to make sure you've got, if you put the wrong transcript in there, you might have problems, right? So it's like you mention the name wrong, or you say something that's factually untrue. That could be an issue, or the caption, the closed caption transcript doesn't match what's actually being said. That could be an issue. But getting that right, getting the title, getting some tagging, getting the description filled out there, I think those are kind of the basics that I would start with. But Google's ingesting YouTube content. There's not much more to do there with a published video, because we're not talking about video content strategy. We're talking about videos that have already been created. What do you got?
Well, a couple of things. I was scribbling talking points while you were talking and looking for stuff on the interwebs.
Sure. Yeah, great.
Number one, biggest bang for your buck does not limit yourself to a single channel, especially when you're creating content. And so definitionally in his question, he's limiting his biggest bang for the buck by talking specifically about YouTube. So I think that is one really, really important thing to note. So that's a piece of this. The other thing that I would do, and there was an interesting post or email or something I read in the last 48 hours from Darren Shaw that made me think about pricing information. And then it made me think about what is I'm going to get to a point here in a moment. So just bear with me. What is the content that AI wants to know about you? That Google, specifically Google AI, wants to know about you? What do they want to know? And how can I get that stuff? How can I get that content everywhere that I possibly can? And so they actually tell you. And that's why I was kind of half listening to you, searching for this. This is direct from Google. And this is when they announced that they were listening in on LSA calls. And they're telling you what they're listening for and how they are going to use it. So I'm going to read this to you because it's important. New provisions allowing Google to select, modify, display, and use rich content, including but not limited to photos, provider bios, service descriptions, special offerings, pricing information, and discounts. Okay, I highlighted provider bios and pricing information. They're telling you what they're listening for. And we talked about the 5, and this is not going to help Tim because this is,
I was going to say, none of this helps Tim.
This does not help Tim, but if your name is not Tim and you're not in Iowa, this might be helpful for you.
Yeah.
They want to know more about the provider bios. And one of the hardest things for some lawyers to do, I'll even say most lawyers to do, is to talk about themselves in a superlative fashion. Now, there are some painfully annoying people who can't help that, whether they have a JD or not. But it's a really awkward thing to talk through your provider bio, who you are, my LinkedIn, my resume. I don't want to be on film. I'm not going to sit here and be like, well, my 3.9 GPA at the University of Michigan Business School, and then I ran the Silver Star for being an amazing digital marketer from marketerdigital.com, right? Like, you don't want to say that stuff and having that as a one way. It feels to me there is room in Feed the AI, right? We talked about Feed the Machine at the Lunch Hour Legal Marketing Summit that is coming up on August 11 through 13. Get your tickets now because we have almost sold out the room. But we did a Feed the Machine at the last one, and feeding the machine your provider by, how do you do that with video? I think having a two-way conversation with an interviewer that talks about why you I'm just going back into Tim's office. Tim and each of these 17 attorneys talking about why they became a lawyer, but doing that with the deliberate context of feeding the machine the provider bio information.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, 100% agree with you on all that. I'm trying to, I think that's good stuff. Really trying to think about like meeting Tim where he is. He's got these videos. I think the other thing that I would be thinking about, and I haven't seen the videos, and I pulled up the YouTube page, so we have some context here. I would be chopping, assuming the videos are like more raw kind of bio longer FAQs, I would chop them into shorts.
Well, he said they're a minute each, so they're already shorts.
Oh yeah,
yeah,
they're already
yeah.
Well,
I might
even cut some 30-second ones
on YouTube. And would you post that as a regular?
Short. I know, as a short.
Yeah, okay.
Let's see if we got any shorts here.
I'm telling you, the shorts get more display.
They do, because no one wants to watch.
Great.
Now, so this is really, again, I'm gonna do what I was trying not to do, which is to go and give advice and guidance that's not going to help Tim, but will help the next person, which is YouTube has its own. Any YouTube expert will tell you YouTube has all of its own sorts of like things that you can do to your videos to improve their performance on YouTube. I mean, you can go look this up. Thumbnails are obviously extremely important. There's all sorts of different things that go into this, which I'm not going to go deep on all that because it's accessible to anybody who wants to just like learn about YouTube creation. But I think that's a piece that missing. And frankly, Lunch Our Legal Marketing, our process on this, like, I feel like we talk about this actually in our show prep, is being more intentional about designing content that is specific for YouTube. And this is the trade-off, right? So just for context for people, because I know a lot of people are dealing with the same thing. So we Lunch Our Legal Marketing was a podcast. We started filming it, so we have video of it. And then we take clips, we make social clips out of the video content. But we don't actually mindfully do the like YouTube stuff. For example, instead of just like taking a clip, you might be like 3 things about RSH legal that are, unique or something like that. It's designed for the social, consumer, the social media consumer, especially platform specific. That's what I think is the missing piece for a lot of the stuff that I see on YouTube. And again, we also struggle with it because we love this idea of record once, cut it up and distribute everywhere. But that's different than creating platform specific creation with all of the bells and whistles for the specific platform. And it does impact it impacts visibility. It impacts the engagement metrics, which tell the algorithm how much to show it and where to show it and to whom to show it to. And so I think that's a strategic thing. Like, if you want to talk about more bang for your buck out of your video, again, not helping Tim, but when you have a video shoot, when you finally convince all the lawyers at your firm to sit down and do the video shoot, make sure you're not just capturing kind of long form bio marketing stuff. Be like, hey, answer this question. You got 30 seconds to answer this question. Bullet points, short, choppy, high energy, that kind of stuff.
I'm going to add one. Well, this is an unresearched perspective, so you can respond to this as you see fit, Guy.
Okay.
I'm going back to the spirit of the question of AI on this, right? Oh, look at this. He's doing exactly what we asked. Look at this. Hold on, scroll up. We've got Tim in the bottom interviewing some of his people at the top of each of those shorts, right? I'm assuming these are his people. That's well done. And part of that's because Tim does a very good job of being the face of the firm. So it's making it easier for people who are less camera happy and comfortable to interact with someone who's already doing this really, really well. So I like that. Sorry. I think on the very tactical side of this, the optimization side of this for AI, I think it's really important to optimize these videos for the lawyer's name. You're trying to associate this content with, Smith Murphy, and you got to make sure that you are optimizing it for the lawyer's name, not necessarily 7 things to do when you've been rear-ended by Amazon driver, right? This is really about the individuals, especially the content that he was asking.
Yep.
Also, hey, Guy, I have a question on this. I like that you're getting 5 different perspectives. He had 17 people. He asked them the same 5 questions. Again, not helping Tim Semmelroth, If you were to do this again, would you ask them the same 5 questions?
Well, I think so I know where you're going with this, and the answer is I would ask them the same 5 questions, and then I would also ask them some different questions. But I think some of the, and I've seen this pulled off in other contexts, but like depends on what the question is. Sometimes it's fun and entertaining to get different answers to the same questions, right? And so I don't know what the the specific questions are, but yes, you don't want, if it's the same question with the same answer, that you don't want to have, right? You don't want duplicative content, the same regurgitated, like, and again, I know that there's the sentiment stuff that you talked about in superlatives, but here's what I don't want. RSH Legal is the best because we work hard and we fight hard and we have 100 years of practice. And the next lawyer, RSH Legal is the best because we work hard, we fight hard, and we've been doing this forever. Like, that's what you do not want to do.
What you do want is you do want Guy and Conrad to take that clip where we say RSH Legal is the best multiple times and have us post that for you that says RSH Legal is the best. And we'll post that all over the interwebs to tell AI that RSH Legal is the best law firm in Iowa.
Yeah. And again, going to click deeper on the AI stuff, I mean, ideal is part, I don't want to put words in Tim's mouth or ideas in Tim's mouth or in Tim's head, I guess. Ideas are in the heads, not in mouths. But so
usually, hopefully there's a filter between the two. I definitely know some people for whom the thought and the words, there's no pause there, dude.
Contemporaneous. People like us, Conrad. But one of the things you want to do is you want to be publishing content on YouTube so that the AI chooses to cite that as a response. And so this is kind of the question, which goes back to this old school idea of SEO stuff. And I was trying to pull a query / prompt that might trigger something that was related to one of Tim's videos. The question that I have, and I think to me, the answer is both, because it's really, I think we're still in kind of like flood the zone world. But do you want your YouTube video to be the cited source, or do you want your firm website to be the cited source? And it's a double-edged sword, because I think that it's more likely that YouTube will be the source. Now, I've just brought up this example, and this is contradictory to what I said, because these are all law firm websites in this particular prompt. Oh, there's a YouTube. Okay. But from a traditional digital marketer perspective, you want your firm to be the cited source, because that's the only way you're going to try to get anybody to actually click back, if there's any chance of a click at all.
I think in the AI world, trying to prioritize which of the many properties on the web that reflect who you are going to be selected by AI over the next 48 months, I wouldn't even think
forget about it.
Like
forget
like, just so this goes back to, and this is talking about non-targeted marketing. This goes back to the be everywhere thing, right? I don't care if it's LinkedIn. I don't care if it's YouTube. I don't care if it's the Better Business Bureau or your website, or just be there. And I think we're in this. I mean, this is like the gross marketing. We're in the be everywhere strategy at this point in time, because we don't know, and it changes.
So, and just as a as an example here, I clicked through to this firm's website, and I think that this is without specific strategic guidance for a particular situation, I think generally what this firm is doing is what I think is the kind of the best practice, which is host the video on your site as well, but it's a YouTube embed. In the past, we used to say, oh no, remember, I mean, I'm sure there's probably some Lunch Hour Legal Marketing episodes that talk about this from back in the day, but there was a question of like, hey, if I actually host the video on my site, I'm not passing the authority back to my YouTube video. I'm capturing that here on my domain. And now I don't know.
Oh.
I don't know if that's the same thinking as in the past. And again, just as an example, again, this is anecdotal, so don't take this as like detailed research. But I think this is an example of like, look, for this prompt, the machine cited this law firm website, which has a YouTube embed. And so I don't think it created this issue of like Google's choosing the YouTube channel versus the website. Like they're choosing the website here.
Well, so let me just reiterate and maybe restate what you're saying. We talked about having really good content hosted on your site to drive links. This was an SEO tactic. It remains an SEO tactic, right?
100%. But also,
yeah, keep going.
Go ahead. No, go ahead. Sorry.
It presumes that your content is good enough to generate links. And I think that is a 98% fallacious presumption, right? And so most of your content, especially your video content, especially like, and no offense to this specific content, but like why I became a lawyer, that kind of stuff, that's not going to get any links unless you artificially create them. It's not going to earn any links. But if it was earnable content, I would still prioritize link building because, and the AI, GEO, SEO people who become the GEO people disagree with us because they don't know how many people are still selecting lawyers based on organic search. That is still a thing. It is still a big thing. It is still a big driver. And so continue to play that game. This is a multi-channel strategy.
And before we're remiss, if you're watching this live stream, please do feel free to drop a comment, a question, topic suggestion you'd like covered wherever you're found, and we will try to answer it. But I think that's the big point, which you just said, which is in my view, and you already said it, the mindset has to shift from like being obsessed about these like minutia of each of these different channels and take that content and get it in as many places as you can. We are not in control of how these algorithms make these choices. And so just be in the training data as much as you possibly can in all these different sorts of contexts. Do the in-platform things that relate less to AI and more to just the user experiences on platform. So, where YouTube has like the things that you do on YouTube that are different from the things you would do on TikTok, that are different from some of the things you do on Instagram, like do those things. But like, I think that a lot of lawyers I talk to, this is how the conversation goes. Where do we post this? And I'm like, yes. Everywhere, as many places
on the internet.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting shift, Guy, that you just verbalized really well. You and I spent our career really focusing on this. And I just saw this in a competitor proposal. It has the website as the hub of information about the lawyer. Yeah. And it was the central part of this. And there were all these satellites around that reinforcing that hub. And at this point in time, with AI specifically and the proliferation of that hub is becoming weaker, and the importance of the satellites to that hub are rising. Yes. That sounded profound.
No,
maybe it wasn't profound.
No
maybe
pun
it was really
intended.
obvious.
Profound being a GEO platform, but yes, I think, and this goes to a bigger issue that I see is that I'll be the first one to admit that I am in camp. There is still a ton of overlap between what we've done historically for SEO and what we do for AI. There are definitely some exceptions to the rule. However, the model thinking about this hub and spoke with your website, that is gone. That is completely gone. I mean, you look at like your website is just another source to try to influence what's going on, but it's not the source of truth.
It is one of many. It might be the biggest source.
It could be, and great.
But
build.
but probably not. The importance of all these different I keep saying the word satellites. You're playing that game at this point in time, and those satellites wax and wane in terms of importance. But
that's right.
The strategy or the tactical execution of the being everywhere is very real. I feel like we should have Dave Matthews coming on in the background.
I don't have that ready in StreamYard.
No,
next time.
And I can't sing "Satellite" by Dave Matthews without making.
You can try.
No one wants. I will never happen. I don't even dance. I was out with my wife the other day, and she was like, "Let's dance." It was a live bar on the beach, and I was live band on the beach. No, I don't sing or dance anymore. That's past. That's in the past.
Anyway, I wanted to give just for folks that are
Sorry.
watching this at some point in the future, just an example of what it looks like and why we give so much priority to YouTube. You know, YouTube's showing up for the #1 organic spot here. This is one of his videos that's answering the question of like, should people in Iowa buy insurance online? It's not the #1 citation for AI. And so again, I'm like, back to your point, Conrad, is like, don't obsess about this, but the web, Google in particular, biases towards YouTube. I mean, it really does. And so I'm very much, and there it is the number, I guess the 3rd citation down. But this is kind of the idea here is that you can use those videos to be responsive. And I think, again, not helpful for videos that are already created, but he did say that they're FAQ videos. These FAQ videos, like, think about what the types of things that your potential clients are searching on and answer those questions, get those into the training data, because it's going to be more likely, especially when there are questions that no one else has answered. That's the other thing too. And this is why I think your point on the pricing, even though we laugh about it, you have to talk about contingency fees, no fee if we win, all that kind of stuff as part of it, because there's a gap there. There's a gap. You know, our research partnership with Near Media, despite all the messaging around no fee, no win, people still don't know. And that's something that a lot of, you know, it's an opportunity for you to include how you get paid to alleviate some of that fear from your audience. And I think it's also something that the machines are looking for. And Jessica is encouraging you to perform satellite at the Lunch Our Legal Marketing Summit, which we should have.
I will never be jolly enough. We will not have karaoke ever. We'll have race cars before we have karaoke.
Maybe my Ignite will be a karaoke
here. Ooh, I'll do that. I'll watch that. I will not do that. Again, I'm going back to we're not helping Tim, but we're helping anyone else who's listening, not named Tim. This is what I would want to do to double your costs for producing these videos, but quadruple the effectiveness. I want each of those 17 people to choose the location where that video is being shot. I suspect, and I haven't seen them, but I'll bet you 20-1 that these are all in a very nice conference room at the Semmelroth headquarters. Mm-hmm. And I think that is a missed opportunity. I would get each of these people to find their favorite place are they in Grand Rapids? No, I'm getting
Grand Rapids. That's in Michigan.
Sorry,
Cedar Rapids.
What am I? Cedar Rapids. Sorry.
Yeah. Yes.
There you go. I think they're not in Grand Rapids. I would ask each of these people to choose their favorite place in Grand Rapids, Michigan. No, but like go select your favorite place. Like I don't care what it is, the high school, like the local high school that you graduated from, the art museum that you're a part of, the thing that you contribute to, a fucking wheat field, right? Sorry, that's just as Iowa as I can possibly come up with. If I'm wrong about wheat, that's fine. But like go do that and make that a part of your content. And that it's a pain in the ass because you got to get some poor schmo videographer schlepping around Iowa. But do that. Get out of your law room, conference room.
I hate to be a broken record, but go do the hashtag Josh Hodges, right?
Yeah. I mean, this is the Josh Hodges
content with the local businesses, the local community leaders, the local locations everybody knows. I think one other thing too that I was thinking about that, you know, and Tim says FAQ, he comes back to this idea of FAQ. You know, when you're titling the videos and when you're creating the descriptions, be very explicit about the question that you're answering in the title and the answer and the question in the description, because again, that's what the machines are like. They're looking for that pattern match where it's like someone typed this prompt in. Where do we see this this question asked and answered over and over again, and by whom? And like that's part of its like how it's thinking about how to determine the response. But you know, the point is that sometimes I see these videos where it'll be like a great FAQ video, and it will say something like FAQ from the lawyer, and it's like that's not helpful at all. That doesn't tell the machine anything about
He's
what's
answering
going
your
on in the
question.
video.
But he's answering your question. Could you pass the salt, or what to do when you're T-boned by a tractor trailer? I don't know.
Yeah. So again, because we're stretching here, but just to kind of recap, I'd be like, focus on the titles, the descriptions, the thumbnails. Get the answer to the question as written text in the thumbnail. We talk. This is another Darren Shaw thing, but the machines are able to read text words in imagery. And so the more information, the more you can feed that machine, the better from an AI standpoint. So this is a video. I'm just making things up but this is a video about why Iowans should not purchase insurance online. Like, make that a little graphic as a thumbnail on the video.
Love it.
All right. What other questions do we have? We're at 30 minutes, so that's usually our commitment for office hours. Do we have any other questions that have been irking?
Jessica would like us to sing Satellite as a duo.
Jessica also asked if we'll be covering existential crises today on the office hours.
No.
How do you?
I'm tapped, man.
Never. Well, I'll tell you mine. Stoicism
what's your
is the answer.
Oh,
Stoicism is the key.
I don't even want it.
Gratitude practice.
Okay.
That's all I got.
Gratitude is one of our core values here at Mockingbird.
Well, you know what? That's a really good one. It's a really good one.
I'm telling you, if you teach your kids gratitude, you win, man.
100%. Every day we do one thing you're grateful for, best part of your day, something hard about your day, and something you're looking forward to.
We do that. We don't do the gratitude one. I might ask the kid, because I've only got one here now. It's kind of brutal, but we might do the gratitude piece. You're like, I'm grateful I don't have any more spinach on my plate.
I'm grateful I no longer live at home. All right. With that, we're out of here. If you stop by this feed or you see this on social media or somewhere, please do subscribe, submit questions. We'd love to hear from you. And time is running out, but we'd love to see you in Nashville, August 11th through 13th for lunch hour.
Hey, there are only 3 seats left, right, Guy? As we've been recording.
There were before we started this recording.
I know. Maybe they're gone.
All right, we're out.